Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell reiterates call for regional collaboration on ICT. We'll have the details to this and other stories in the National Report. With the details to the news for Thursday, September 24th, 2020, I'm Delroy Louison. Prime Minister Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell has reiterated the need for Caribbean governments to work collaboratively on matters relating to ICT, including the CARICOM Single ICT Space. Addressing the 23rd General Conference of the Ministers of the Caribbean Telecommunications Union, CTU, Dr. Mitchell said, quote, "The COVID-19 pandemic has amplified the need for regional governments, corporations and institutions such as CARICOM and CTU to collaborate, shape and operationalize a common regional digital future. It can no longer be business as usual," unquote. Dr. Mitchell, who is lead head for science and technology, including ICT in the CARICOM Quasi-Cabinet, said it is through united purpose and actions that the region will achieve its greatest results. He lamented the lack of progress towards the CARICOM Single ICT Space. He added that it is now more than 3 years since the heads of government approved a vision and roadmap for the CARICOM Single ICT Space, but progress has been painfully slow.
If the region is to emerge from this pandemic stronger, it is clear that the digital economy must play an increasingly significant role as a driver of economic growth and social transformation. The consensus is that COVID-19 has placed pressure on the region to accelerate the implementation of the CARICOM Single ICT Space and other technological initiatives. It is therefore regrettable that despite the efforts of the CTU and other entities thus far, the region is still a long way from achieving the single ICT space, due in part to the fact that the requisite human and financial resources for this important initiative have not been allocated. This is not good for us.
The Grenadian leader signaled his intention to present to fellow CARICOM leaders at their next meeting a report prepared by the CTU which details recommendations for kick-starting the implementation of the CARICOM Single ICT Space. Dr. Mitchell also suggested that the region positions itself for a technological renaissance.
While the spread of COVID-19 continues to have a major negative impact on the global economy, it is clear that the digital economy is showing no signs of slowing down. This is good news to some extent. The pandemic has created an unprecedented and insatiable demand for technological solutions. The Caribbean therefore must position itself to be on the cutting edge of this technology. And it is organizations such as the CTU that will lead this regional technological renaissance. Sisters and brothers all, there is much work to be done. And as we press forward in this digital construct, issues such as the elimination of roaming charges among the CARICOM states must be placed on the front burner and give more collective focus on efforts.
The CTU meeting held virtually was attended by ICT and telecommunications ministers from the organization's member states, officials from the CTU Secretariat, as well as representatives from telecommunications companies. Continuing the news, the Ministry of Education says it is working with the Caribbean Examinations Council to rectify the issue which resulted in some CAPE results being returned ungraded. A release from the ministry says several candidates received ungraded results due to an issue identified with incomplete SPA uploads and a glitch in CXC's SPA uploads automated response system. The subjects affected are Pure Mathematics, Unit 1 and 2, Entrepreneurship, Unit 1 and 2, Environmental Science, Unit 1, Management of Business Unit 1, Sociology Unit 2, Communication Studies, Caribbean Studies, and Law Unit 1. CXC has provided an additional support platform to the T.A. Marisha Community College, TAMCC, today, September 24th, to accommodate the uploading of the missing SBAs. Consequently, the CAPE grades that were issued as ungraded will be reissued to students in the shortest possible time. You're watching the National Report. We'll have more news in just a moment. Do stay with us.
Protect yourself and our community from COVID-19. Wash your hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. If soap and water are not available, use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer with at least 70% alcohol. Use a tissue when blowing your nose, sneezing, or coughing. Immediately discard the tissue properly and wash or sanitize your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Let's do our part to ensure that each and every Grenadian remains healthy. To stay up to date, visit the Government of Grenada's webpage or the Ministry of Health's Facebook page. For more information, contact the Ministry of Health's hotline by calling 53-VIRUS. This has been a public service announcement brought to you by the Ministry of Health.
Welcome back. Infrastructure Minister Honorable Gregory Bowen says there is no truth to claims that regional and international construction companies are being awarded many of the large contracts for roads and buildings as opposed to local contractors. Minister Bowen said contracts are awarded through a transparent process that is known by all certified contractors on the island.
You have guidelines and rules to follow. For example, you should have accomplished similar quantity jobs. Let's just say a 50 million EC dollars. You must have done a similar job like that before. There is any road contractor, local road contractor, that would have done a $50 million local contract. Maybe the 10 or the 11. So if contracts are done in that value, then they will have a chance to bid. Then they must put performance bond, and then they must have a certain quantity of cash flow. Remember, when you work with the World Bank or the Kuwait Fund, any other project, the European Union, you have to pay your men and buy material for over a period of 6 months. You must be able to do that. Right? You will get an advance payment, but the advance payment will be less than what you need. So you have to have sufficient cash. You may go to the bank and get it. So you may be able to pass that condition. But the condition of doing work before or within the last 4 years, you must do work to a value of 200 million. These are the criteria, the conditions that our local contractor will fill.
The infrastructure minister says the external financing agencies are very strict about terms of reference for qualification in the bidding process. He made reference to the St. Patrick Road Improvement Project, which is in the vicinity of $10 million.
So we start at a minimum of 10 million US. That's where you're going. The first phase in St. Patrick is 10 million US. The second phase is between 15 and 18 million US. And then you have to tender. Nothing is preventing a local company from tendering. But can they meet the conditions? Hardly.
And finally in the news, the government of Grenada is spending millions of dollars on school construction and refurbishment around the country. Earlier this week, the Sod was turned to signal the start of a Caribbean Development Bank CDB-funded multi-million-dollar construction project at Bishop's College in Carriacou. The project is part of the Grenada Educational Enhancement Project and involves the construction of a new school building and rehabilitation of the existing structure. Minister for Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs and Local Government, Honorable Kindra Mathurin-Stewart, is a former student. She complimented all involved in placing the institution at the top of the priority list. She is confident the school will receive a makeover that is deserving of an institution that has served the educational needs of Carriacou and Petite Martinique for years.
The government of Grenada, through the Caribbean Development Bank, has committed $10.8 million to this project. Monies that I believe will be well spent for a makeover well deserving of an institution that has been the bedrock of our community. For this, I want to thank our dear Prime Minister and Minister of Finance for such a bold commitment towards the future of our children and to Carriacou and Petite Martinique. I am very confident that this new school will be transformed into a better institution of teaching and learning, where learners, educators, and parents will feel free and secure, and where quality learning can continue to take place. This is in line with our educational strategic goals, which is to improve the condition and education outcomes by providing opportunities for youth development. In closing, I therefore would like to reiterate my thanks to everyone involved in this project, all stakeholders, our students, both past and present, our parents, our teachers, everyone involved. And I look forward to the fullest and frank cooperation of all of you to ensure that this project is a success.
Minister for Education Honorable Emlyn Pear said despite the drop in government's revenue due to the COVID-19 crisis, they were committed to ensuring that there were no further delays on the Bishop's College project.
Of course, we know that we are in a crisis. Of course, we know that this is very challenging times. But I'm sure that you would agree with me that God has been good. So much resources have been diverted for other reasons, but we are indeed blessed that we are here this morning and we are able to continue this project in spite of the fact that government's resources, government's revenue has reduced by about 50%. So as we experience this challenge, there is so much that we can celebrate, so much that we can be thankful for. And I want to use this opportunity to express appreciation to the principal, staff, students, the entire school community for your patience.
The contractor for the project is Hanover Construction Company Limited from Trinidad. The company's operations and construction director, Richard Maharaj, says the project will create job opportunities for more than 100 construction workers locally and is expected to be delivered by March 2022.
We will be looking at over 100 skilled people employed on this project, which will comprise of carpenters, masons, helpers, steel benders, technicians, and engineers that will be on this project. So we will have over 100 people employed on this project. We will also drive employment through providing, working with local suppliers, local truckers, equipment providers who will be employed on this project and will gain employment through Bishop's College.
Among many people expressing gratitude on the commencement of the project were Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Carriacou and Petite Martinique Affairs, Roalda Kwamina, and Principal of Bishop's College, Indra Scott. That story concludes the National Report for Thursday, 24th September 2020. Recapping the headline, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Mitchell reiterates call for regional collaboration on ICT. That's all from us here at the newsroom. On behalf of all who made this newscast possible, management and staff of the Government Information Service, I'm Delroy Louison, thanking you for joining us. We'll see you next time.